The readings will now be given by Elizabeth from Georgia.
I will read from the Bible. Isaiah. Thou wilt keep him in perfect peace, whose mind is stayed on thee, because he trusteth in thee. O Lord, thou art my God. I will exalt thee. I will praise thy name, for thou hast done wonderful things. Thy counsels of old are faithfulness and truth. Therefore shall the strong people glorify thee. The city of the terrible nations shall fear thee. For thou hast been a strength to the poor, a strength to the needy in his distress, a refuge from the storm, a shadow from the heat, when the blast of the terrible ones is as a storm against the wall. Psalm. I would hasten my escape from the windy storm and tempest. I will call upon God, and the Lord shall save me. Evening and morning and at noon will I pray, and cry aloud, and he shall hear my voice. He hath delivered my soul in peace from the battle that was against me. For there were many with me. Cast thy burden upon the Lord, and he shall sustain thee. He shall never suffer the righteous to be moved. They that go down to the sea in ships, that do business in great waters, these see the works of the Lord, and his wonders in the deep. They cry unto the Lord in their trouble, and he bringeth them out of their distresses. He maketh the storm a calm, so that the waves thereof are still. Then are they glad, because they be quiet. So he bringeth them unto their desired haven. Matthew. Now when Jesus saw great multitudes about him, he gave commandment to depart unto the other side. And when he was entered into a ship, his disciples followed him. And behold, there arose a great tempest in the sea, insomuch that the ship was covered with the waves. But he was asleep. And his disciples came to him and awoke him, saying, Lord, save us, we perish. And he saith unto them, Why are ye fearful, O ye of little faith? Then he arose and rebuked the wind and the sea, and there was a great calm. But the men marveled, saying, What manner of man is this, that even the winds and the sea obey him? Isaiah. Behold, a king shall reign in righteousness, and princes shall rule in judgment. And a man shall be as an hiding place from the wind, and a covert from the tempest, as rivers of water in a dry place, as the shadow of a great rock in a weary land. And the eyes of them that see shall not be dim, and the ears of them that hear shall hearken. Job. God thundereth marvelously with his voice. Great things doeth he. For he saith to the snow, Be thou on the earth, likewise to the small rain, and to the great rain of his strength. By the breath of God, frost is given, and the breath of the waters is straitened. Also by watering he wearieth the thick cloud. He scattereth his bright cloud. And it is turned round about by his counsels, that they may do whatsoever he commandeth them upon the face of the world in the earth. Hearken unto this. Stand still and consider the wondrous works of God. Amos. For lo, he that formed the mountains, and created the wind, and declareth unto man what is his thought, that maketh the morning darkness, and treadeth upon the high places of the earth. The Lord, the God of hosts, is his name. I will read also from Science and Health with Key to the Scriptures and Prose Works by Mary Baker Eddy. No mortal mind has the might or right or wisdom to create or to destroy. All is under the control of the one mind, even God. Erring power is a material belief, a blind miscalled force, the offspring of will and not of wisdom, of the mortal mind and not of the immortal. It is the headlong cataract, the devouring flame, the tempest breath. It is lightning and hurricane, all that is selfish, wicked, dishonest, and impure. Moral and spiritual might belong to Spirit, who holds the wind in his fist, and this teaching accords with science and harmony. There is no vapid fury of mortal mind, expressed in earthquake, wind, wave, lightning, fire, bestial ferocity, and this so-called mind is self-destroyed. The manifestations of evil, which counterfeit divine justice, are called in the Scriptures the anger of the Lord. In reality, they show the self-destruction of error or matter and point to matter's opposite, the strength and permanency of spirit. Christian Science brings to light truth and its supremacy, universal harmony, the entireness of God, good, and the nothingness of evil. The prophets, Jesus, and the apostles demonstrated a divine intelligence that subordinates so-called material laws, and disease, death, winds, and waves obey this intelligence. Was it mind or matter that spake in creation, and it was done? The answer is self-evident, and the command remains, Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Jesus taught us to walk over, not into or with, the currents of matter or mortal mind. His teachings speared the lions in their dens. He turned the water into wine. He commanded the winds. He healed the sick, all in direct opposition to human philosophy and so-called natural science. He annulled the laws of matter, showing them to be laws of mortal mind, not of God. He showed the need of changing this mind and its abortive laws. He demanded a change of consciousness and evidence, and effected this change through the higher laws of God. God's law reaches and destroys evil by virtue of the allness of God. God's law is in 3 words, I am all. And this perfect law is ever present to rebuke any claim of another law. It is truth's knowledge of its own infinitude which forbids the genuine existence of even a claim to error. Science both neutralizes error and destroys it. In reality, the more closely error simulates truth, and so-called matter resembles its essence, mortal mind, the more impotent error becomes as a belief. According to human belief, the lightning is fierce and the electric current swift. Yet in Christian Science, the flight of one and the blow of the other will become harmless. The more destructive matter becomes, the more its nothingness will appear, until matter reaches its mortal zenith in illusion and forever disappears. What a pitiful sight is malice, finding pleasure in revenge. Evil is sometimes a man's highest conception of right, until his grasp on good grows stronger. Then he loses pleasure in wickedness, and it becomes his torment. The way to escape the misery of sin is to cease sinning. There is no other way. Sin is the image of the beast, to be effaced by the sweat of agony. It is a moral madness which rushes forth to clamor with midnight and tempest. Every Christian Scientist, every conscientious teacher of the science of mind healing, knows that human will is not Christian Science, and he must recognize this in order to defend himself from the influence of human will. He feels morally obligated to open the eyes of his students, that they may perceive the nature and methods of error of every sort, especially any subtle degree of evil, deceived and deceiving. All mental malpractice arises from ignorance or malice aforethought. It is the injurious action of one mortal mind controlling another from wrong motives, and it is practiced either with a mistaken or a wicked purpose. Show your student that mental malpractice tends to blast moral sense, health, and the human life. Instruct him how to bar the door of his thought against the seeming power. A task not difficult when one understands that evil has in reality no power. The notion that animal natures can possibly give force to character is too absurd for consideration when we remember that through spiritual ascendancy our Lord and Master healed the sick, raised the dead, and commanded even the winds and waves to obey him. Grace and truth are potent beyond all other means and methods. Keep your mind so filled with truth and love that sin, disease, and death cannot enter them. It is plain that nothing can be added to the mind already full. There is no door through which evil can enter, and no space for evil to fill in a mind filled with goodness. Good thoughts are an impervious armor. Clad therewith, you are completely shielded from the attacks of error of every sort. And not only yourselves are safe, but all whom your thoughts rest upon are thereby benefited. God is infinite, therefore ever present, and there is no other power nor presence.